AOC slammed the Republican Party today during an oversight committee hearing for trying to paint Democrats and Joe Biden as politically corrupt individuals who are trying to interfere with the Department of Justice and trying to bend it to do their bidding. When the Republican Party, Donald Trump, these mega morons have the track record of doing just that.
Which brings me to the point of political influence. Where there actually is a set of breadcrumbs, however, is in a set of tweets and letters sent from former President Trump to several chairs, to the chair of the House Judiciary Committee that we see here. In fact, according to New York Times article, which I'd like to present to the record today, President Trump's attorney wrote to the Judiciary Committee chairman urging him to investigate what he called, quote, a rogue local district attorney. And after that New York DA convened a grand jury that ultimately indicted Donald Trump, Chairman Jordan complied with that letter. Shortly after President Trump's attorney sent that letter to the committee, which is highly unusual, a very highly unusual act. And in fact, after that, on March 20th, Chairman Jordan, together with the Committee on House Administration, Chairman Brian Steele, as well as the chairman of this committee, wrote to District Attorney Bragg and then demanded a sweeping series of documents, including communications between the DA's office and the Department of Justice, also highly unusual. In fact, on his Truth Social account later on, Donald Trump claimed that the U.S. attorney investigating Hunter Biden, a U.S. attorney, by the way, that Donald Trump appointed, was, quote, a coward. And then in that, he then urged that maybe the presiding judge will have the courage and intellect to break up this, quote, cesspool of crime. Curiously, just a few days after this tweet, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Jason Smith, sent a letter to U.S. Attorney David Weiss and Attorney General Merrick Garland, who are implicated in this hearing, explicitly asking them to place the whistleblower testimony from the committee's depositions into the court record, which were addressed during the chairman's opening statements, before Hunter Biden's plea hearing at the end of the month. And as you can see right here, Chairman Smith explicitly said, and I quote, entering this information into the formal record. Additionally, those two chairmen waived onto this hearing today. Highly unusual.
Will the gentlelady yield?
And one moment. And when we talk about political influence, we are not here today, unfortunately, because the facts have brought us here. We are here today because Donald Trump is exerting an influence campaign in Congress when he is no longer president of the United States. In addition to that, if we want to talk about charges that have been dismissed, and if we do want to follow the evidence, perhaps we should discuss Ivanka Trump's investigation who was close to being charged with felony fraud after Donald Trump's personal attorney provided political contributions to the local DA. Those charges were dismissed, and ultimately we saw that DA Vance, President Trump's attorney, provided over $50,000 in political contributions after the case was dismissed. So when we talk about political contributions, I would hope, if we are following the evidence, that we are willing, that this committee, if this committee is going to go there, that they be willing to open investigations into the dismissal of charges against Ivanka Trump. And, by the way, if the gentlelady from Georgia wanted to follow evidence, we should also take a look at, hypothetically, a case where sex trafficking charges against a 17-year-old girl potentially...
The gentlelady's time's expired.
Thank you, and I yield back.
AOC looking like she wanted to punch somebody at the end of her questioning there. She was actually referring to Matt Gaetz there. Matt Gaetz, who paid for the company of a 17-year-old girl, trafficked her across state lines, actually was caught because he paid using Venmo. Well, those charges were dropped. The Department of Justice said that they were not going to charge Matt Gaetz. And AOC points out that, that was highly unusual. Maybe someone from outside of government is still trying to influence the Department of Justice. I wonder who that could be. Maybe it was the one-time orange buffoon, the disgraced former president who was impeached twice. Probably, because she brings up another point, and it's crazy because Donald Trump was so corrupt, the Republican Party is so corrupt that it's really hard to keep track of all the corruption. And that's why AOC does such a fantastic job here. And that's why it's so important that we have people like her in the Democratic Party because they got the receipts, right? And so she brings up all these highly unusual things like Donald Trump messaging Jim Jordan and asking him to do his bidding. And then Jim Jordan gets waved onto the committee. And doing this with another representative, another committee chairman. A Donald Trump attorney paying a district attorney $50,000 after an investigation was stopped into felony fraud. An investigation into Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump's daughter, for felony fraud. And what about the $2 billion Jared Kushner got from the Saudis? No investigation into that, huh? It's highly unusual, Republicans. And they have the audacity to sit on this committee and try to pretend like, oh, these Democrats, with no evidence, and with really, really sketchy whistleblowers. One who is a registered Chinese spy who was selling arms to the Iranian regime and Libya. That's where the Republican Party's at. They are so boldly lying and trying to confuse voters and trying to divide the Republican Party away from everyone else because they want to paint the picture that they're the ones who are trying to clean out government when they are the dirtiest of them all. And God bless AOC for standing up to these disgusting politicians. Donald Trump, all of these mega morons in Congress who are still doing his bidding. Marjorie Taylor Greene today was holding up pornographic photos of Hunter Biden, which they got off of a laptop, took from a private citizen, and showed off on Capitol Hill, which is totally disgraceful. And I'm hoping that Hunter Biden sues the socks off of MTG for doing what she did today. But her actions, and I'm not even going to show any images or videos of what she showed, but it is just symbolic of how disgusting the Republican Party is these days. So if you are like me, you're sick and tired of it, and you like pushing back and taking action and spreading the news and spreading the word that doesn't represent us, right? That Marjorie Taylor Greene and the deplorable Republican Party is not who we are, then I want you on my team. So hit the follow button on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your thoughts on these on the daily news. So thanks again for watching. My name is Brendan Plank with Reflect News here on Facebook and YouTube. I will see you in tomorrow's video.